Hi everyone, this is the first tutorial on the basics of the low-key helix. Here we are looking at some examples that we will find in real life, like staircases, springs, in cars, bridges, motorcycles, and as well as in nature where we see the shell structure of a snail. We are looking at a view that sort of presents the front view of the staircase, as well as a top view that represents a spiral staircase from the top down. So what is a helix? In Wikipedia we see that they say a helix is a spiral staircase or a corkscrew structure. It is a smooth space curve with a tangent lines pointing at a fixed axis at a constant angle. That's from Wikipedia. And then from the grade 11 EGD textbook from the Mind Action series, they state that a helix or helices is the locus generated by a point that moves at uniform velocity around the outside surface of a cylinder while at the same time advancing at a uniform velocity, either up or down the surface of the cylinder in the direction of the axis. Now please take note that the axis can be at any angle. It can be vertical, it can be horizontal, or it can be slanted. The ratio between the rotational motion and the linear motion is always constant. As mentioned, this is from the Mind Action series, the grade 11 EGD textbook. Here is an example of a tap that we use as example to explain the turn of direction for the helix. Let's imagine this is the top view and we want to explain the left-handed and right-handed turn of direction. So to loosen this tap, we will turn it to the left in an anti-clockwise direction. And to fasten this tap, we will turn it in a right direction or in a clockwise direction. Let's use the staircase as an example of how we're going to explain the clockwise turn of the helix. From the ground floor up, we're going to explain the turn of the direction, in this case the clockwise direction or a right-handed turn, and we will do our numbering in the opposite direction than that of the turn. So here is an example of the top view of this staircase, where we notice the solid column, or which is also known as the core, in the center. We have an inner and an outer diameter, the inner diameter being the point right at the column, and the outside diameter, which is the maximum reach of the helix, or in this case the staircase. On this illustration we clearly see the turn of direction, which is a right-handed turn or a clockwise direction. And we also see the labels of our turn going in the opposite direction as that of the turn. This is because we are moving from the bottom to the top. Here I've illustrated the width of the steps, and it comes from the inner diameter to the outer diameter. Now these diameters will be provided to you, so we will tell you what is the diameter of the core or the column. Now sometimes the column or the core will be visible, and sometimes you will see that it says that the core or the column is not visible. Therefore, if the column is visible, we will cut the column on the top view and hatch it at an angle of 45 degrees. And if the core is not visible, we will just leave it out and draw in the inner diameter of the steps. Now look at this illustration just to express the movement from the bottom to the top. Therefore the steps are going to go in a clockwise direction and our labels will go in an anti-clockwise direction. So here we see the starting point, which is at the bottom, where we have the inner and outer diameter of our spiral staircase. And we clearly see the direction, we've hatched the column, and we also labeled our degrees in the opposite direction. I just want to mention that we do not have to use degrees when we label. We can also use from 0 to 12. I just emphasized the 30-degree intervals that we use for the construction on our top view of the helix using the degrees so that you are clear that we are dividing our circle into 30-degree segments through the center of the column. Now let's take a look at what will happen with our construction if we still a right-handed turn or a clockwise direction, but in this example we're going to go from the top moving down, and therefore our numbering on our construction will be in the same direction. So looking at this, we can clearly see the indicated center line on the column. This helps us to see the start and the end of our steps for one full revolution. We see that our turn is still in a clockwise direction, or in other words a right-handed turn, but as mentioned, this is now from the top to the bottom, meaning from the first story to the ground floor. Let's look at the presentation. What happens if we are going from the top down? We are going to move in a clockwise direction, and our labels is also in a clockwise direction. This is from the top to the bottom with a right-handed turn. Here we can clearly see all the constructions from our starting point, which, as I've mentioned, can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to 12. It does not have to be in degrees. Most people use numbers instead of degrees. Let's take a look now from the bottom to the top if we have a left-handed turn or an anti-clockwise direction. And here again, because it's from the bottom going to the top, we're going to number in the opposite direction. So here on our illustration, we see again on the top view the spiral staircase. We can clearly see the arrows indicating the anti-clockwise direction or a left-handed turn. All the other constructions and numbering is also done as we did with the previous examples. Just remember, we're going to label in the opposite direction because we're moving from the bottom to the top. Now let's take a look at the left-handed turn or the anti-clockwise direction of the staircase, moving from the bottom to the top. Therefore our staircase is going to go in the anti-clockwise direction, but we will label in a clockwise direction because we're moving from the bottom to the top. Here we can see all the constructions that we've done. We've indicated the turn, and we also have clearly indicated our starting point. Now let's take a look at the left-handed turn or anti-clockwise direction from the top to the bottom. We remind ourselves that we now have to number in the same direction as that of the turn. Here we can see the starting point. We can see the direction indicated by the arrows. Please always indicate the arrows to show the turn of direction, which in this case is the left-handed turn or anti-clockwise direction. And because we're moving now from the top to the bottom, we are now going to illustrate how that movement is going to be in the anti-clockwise direction, and our labels will also be in the anti-clockwise direction because we're moving from the top to the bottom. Here we have all the constructions done and all the labels indicated. Just a reminder of the inside diameter, which is right against the column on the inside of our staircase, and then also our outside diameter, which is on the outer edge or the far reach of our staircase. And here we see the two together, the inside and outside diameter. Please remember that in the question you will receive the dimensions for the inner and outer diameter. We will also make sure that our starting point is clearly indicated by a dark solid line. In this illustration, I'm making use of a spring to indicate the number of turns or revolutions that one can find in a helix. Now this is just an example, and the dimensions and the diameter, your height, and all of these other factors will be influenced based on the type of helix that you are busy constructing. We see that there are in total 9 full revolutions in this example of a coil spring. The coil spring will have its own diameter, which will vary based on the information given in the question. Now, as mentioned, this spring has 9 full revolutions, where we understand that 1 revolution is the movement from 0 to 360 degrees, meaning 12 segments of 30 degrees. That will give us 1 full revolution. Here we can see that the center of the coil spring is the lowest point of our construction of the helix. We also notice that the maximum height of our construction will be measured at the uppermost center point of the coil spring. Normally we do not do as many revolutions for an example because the construction will take too long. We normally do 1 full revolution, 1.5 revolution, or 2 revolutions. Those are the most common amount of revolutions used in our examples for school. Let's take a close look at the pitch or lead of a full revolution. In this illustration we see the top view and the front view of 1 full revolution of the coil spring. At the bottom right we see an illustration of how we're going to calculate the full revolution of the coil spring. We will take the distance from the lowest point of our helix, that is in this case from the center point of the helical coil, and we will then project that to the highest point of that full revolution, which means that is also going to be at the center point of our coil spring after we have 1 full revolution. Please note that 1 full revolution is known as a pitch or a lead. That is the movement of a helix through 12 equal segments. We will have to use a calculation which is pi times diameter to determine the mathematical equation for the circumference. We also need to be able to do the construction for the circumference of the circle. I will place a link to the detailed tutorial on the construction of the circumference of a circle in the descriptions below. This is a quick example of the construction that we will use to determine the circumference of a circle, and then also how to take that circumference and divide it into 12 equal segments. As you can note, we have a formula which must be written down, and we must also do the full calculation to determine the mathematical distance of our circumference for that circle.